Hola alumnos, hoy vamos a hablar de los verbos y sus sujetos, sus sustantivos. So today we're connecting the verbs and subjects and talking about how we can do that when reading and when writing. And it's really quite simple. And once you get this basic understanding under your belt, it's really pretty easy to start connecting everything fairly simply. To start off, we're going to talk about the subject. The subject is who is doing the action. So we have six subjects, or well, six sections of subjects, which can be broken down. And it's identified by singular or plural, so how many, and then first, second, or third. And you can think of this as how far away from you. So first person is myself or includes myself. You can't get any closer to yourself than yourself. The next person over second person is the person I'm talking directly to, with the exception of usted or ustedes, which is that formal you or the y'all and everywhere but Spain. The second person is who I'm talking directly to. Third person is everything else in the world. It's he, she. Of course, like we said, we have that formal you under there, usted. But anything that you can possibly think of is going to go into that third person. You can always ask yourself, does it have yo, nosotros, tú, or vosotros? And if it doesn't have one of those four words that we see up at the top, then you know it has to be third person because it doesn't contain one of those four words, yo, tú, nosotros, or vosotros. So if it's my dog, third person. If it's Juan, third person. If it's the guitar, third person. All of those things are going to fit into that third person unless it contains the top four words, yo, tú, nosotros, or vosotros. All right, so let's take a quick look through these. So at the first person singular, we have yo, that is I. Second person singular, tú, the informal you. Third person singular, él, ella, he or she, and usted, the formal you. And like I said, anything that's singular and outside of yo or tú is going to be in this third person. Moving to the plural side, in first person plural, I have nosotros, which is we, or anything plus yo. If I'm talking about mi mamá y yo, that's going to be first person plural because I am involved. Yo exists. And note to self here that yo trumps everything. If it is tú plus yo, even though tú is second person, yo exists and that makes it first person. So we want to make sure that if we see yo, we know it trumps everything else and it'll automatically be a first person as soon as we see that yo involved. Next down, second person plural, we have vosotros. Now this is y'all, and this is only used in España. Anything plus tú is going to be vosotros, again, only in Spain. When we look at this next one, third person plural, we see ellos and ellas, meaning they, or like I said, anything plural will be in this section. So if it's the dog that is singular, it's third person singular. If this the dogs plural, that's going to be third person plural here. Ustedes is y'all when it's not Spain, anywhere but Spain. So a quick reference, I want to point you to the bottom of the screen. Anything plus tú in Spain is vosotros, right? Because we have tú, which is second person. We have more than one person in there. It'll become plural, vosotros, y'all. However, everywhere but Spain, ustedes will be used with anything plus tú or anything plus usted. All right, so anything plus tú equals vosotros only in Spain. Everywhere else, you'll see and hear ustedes as the word for y'all. So knowing that, let's talk about the verb for a minute. So the subject is the person doing the action. The verb is the action itself. Some quick things about the verb is there are three types. There's the AR verb, the ER verb, and the IR verb. There are patterns to regular verbs. The AR, ER, IR, there are many, many, many regular verbs, but there are also irregular verbs, meaning they don't follow that same pattern. And we'll look at three of those irregular verbs today. However, even though those irregular don't follow the same conjugation patterns as the regular verbs, it doesn't mean we can't connect the verb and the subject. This is something that will remain the same no matter what the verb is. We're always able to connect that subject and that verb in the exact same way. Look at how to do this. The first thing we want to do is connect by reading. So when I look at this sentence up here at the top, yo estoy en la clase, I want to first identify my subject. We talked about those subjects and I have them written up here on the screen as well. So I see here first, yo. I know that yo is first person singular because I see it over here with first person singular. All right? So I've identified my subject. It's yo. The next word is my verb, estoy. So here, I know yo is first person singular, and because my subject and my verb will always connect, that means that the verb following is also first person singular. So I can take estoy and write it right up here in my first person singular. So my verb is estar, by the way. This is an unconjugated verb, meaning there's nobody attached to it. No one's doing that subject, or sorry, no one's doing that action right now. As soon as I say that yo is doing that action, I'm going to say estoy. Why? Because estoy means that yo, I am doing it. All right, let's see a couple more examples here. So I see here, nosotros estamos en la ciudad. Nosotros, I see, is first person plural. That means that the verb that follows is also first person plural. All right. Next, I have él está aquí. I see él is in third person singular, so I can put está in third person singular. Ustedes están en la clase. I see ustedes in third person plural. I know that están must also be in third person plural. Vosotros estáis cansados. So here, again, I see that vosotros is second person plural. I can write estáis in my second person plural. Finally, I have tú estás conmigo. I know that estás must be over here in second person singular because tú is in second person singular. So hopefully you can see how you can connect everything. When you read any sentence, you know that you can connect the verb, the conjugation of the verb, with the person exactly, because they will always match. If the subject is first person singular, the verb that follows is first person singular. Now, let's take this to a more practical way. Let's say you are speaking or you're writing and you want to be able to connect these two things together because this is how we often communicate. We're not necessarily reading to connect, we're going to need to communicate with each other. Out some writing, I have gone ahead and typed out estar right here, just like I wrote, but neater obviously because it's written. So now what I want to do is go ahead and write in my different items here. So I have ella here at the bottom. Ella, I know, is third person singular. So if you have those people memorized, those subjects memorized, it will help you so much to be able to connect everything. Ella is third person singular. That means I'm going to go to whatever verb I am trying to write in here. In this case, it's estar. And I'm going to go to third person on the singular side and choose está. Let's see if I can write this in here. Oh, I made it. Ella está en la clase. If I look at ellos, I know ellos is third person plural, so I go to the plural side, the right-hand side of my box. 1, 2, 3. I see están, and I can connect those two. Están en la biblioteca. Yo is first person singular, so I go to my singular side in the first box, and I have estoy. Tú is second person singular, so I go to my singular section, 1, 2, and I have estás. Vosotros is second person plural. I go to plural, 1, 2, estáis. And finally, nosotros is first person plural, so I go to the plural side on the first person, I have estamos. So it's connected all of my verbs. Oh, that one's really messy. Good thing you can read them at the top. I've gone through and I've connected. I've gone through each one of my words or my sentences, and I've connected the subject with the verb, the conjugation of the verb in my boxes. Now all we have to do is apply it to any verb that we see. And many, many times on worksheets or anywhere else, you're trying to write something, you're going to look up a verb. And when you look up that verb on, say, word reference, it will give you an unconjugated verb, meaning no one's attached to it. But that's okay, because we can then attach it by looking at the boxes. So I have 3 examples here. At the top, I have ir, and then I have ser, and finally I have estar at the bottom. All I have to do is connect my items. So let's say I want to say, I'm going to the store. So I look up the verb to go and I get ir. I will not write yo ir a la tienda. I will write yo plus the conjugation of ir. So let's go to that first. Yo is first person singular. I go to my verb ir. First person singular, I see voy. Voy is my answer. Voy a la tienda. Next, I'm going to Juan. I want to say Juan is tall. If I look up to be, I get ser, and I'm not writing Juan ser alto. I'm going to write, this is third person singular. So I'm going to go to my verb ser, third person singular, es. Juan es alto. Finalmente, mi mamá y yo. Again, I'm writing a star. I'm not going to put a star, but rather the conjugation. I see yo exists, and there's 1, 2 people, which means it will be first person because of yo, and plural because there are more than 1 person. Estamos. All right. Hopefully that has helped you to see how we can connect any and all verbs to a subject, and it makes it much simpler when you go to write anything out or if you're trying to understand something you are reading. It helps to make those connections, and it definitely helps with your communication, especially when you start writing and you start getting into more complex ways of conjugating verbs and using more verbs. Understanding that you can write all these verbs out as these different conjugations in boxes and keep connecting them in this fashion until you memorize them. That is perfect and a great way to go about figuring out everything that's going on. Gracias a todos. If you have any questions or anything else that you would like, let me know. Adios.